channel. Right, earlier this year, you might remember me saying this. I've set myself a target this year, and that is to brew with as many different brewing applications as possible. Well, I'm back on the crusade to brew on as many brewing applications as possible. And this one that I've got today, the Cona vacuum pot or Siphon. First of all, I'll just like to say thank you to Steve for lending me this absolutely beautiful looking brewer. This is pretty retro and it wouldn't look out of place at a 1980s dinner party alongside a prawn cocktail. But I think we're going to get some decent results and let's get into it. So basically, siphon filter, siphon brewer, you get a little flask, you get a vase which, cheers, looks like a nice wine glass, you get a glass stopper. I think some of these actually use a filter or use a metal filter or a cloth filter, but essentially what happens is you put your water in there, use an element. I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful looking thing. I mean, you can actually plug this in, and this has got a heating element here which will boil the water underneath this vessel, but you can get little gas burners, or you can even get ones that you can put alcohol in or spirit and then burn them underneath. So there is a various types. I'm not 100% sure how much this costs, but to be honest, it's probably worthy of being in a coffee museum. It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm so glad I've got my hands on it. This one comes with a really cool 1970s vibe instructions, which I'm going to follow to a certain degree. Basically, what happens is put your water in this pot, get your element on, let it boil away, pop your coffee in there. This will then create a vacuum. Now I'm not 100% sure, I'd like to believe it's magic, but there is some atmospheric pressures going on inside this chamber in here, which as it boils, water will then go into this top vase, and then you stop the brewing process, so turn the heat off or turn the heat down, and as the pressures equalize and change from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, the coffee that is brewing in the top from the water that has gone up will then be released back into the chamber, and all the grounds will be held in this part at the top. So I'm gonna use a recipe. I'm gonna go just a standard sort of filter recipe. I'm gonna brew a pot of 500 gram of water in the bottom, and I'm gonna put around about 32 grams of coffee, which I'm gonna grind medium fine, like a V60 or a pour over. So as always, without me babbling on too much, let's brew some coffee. So, a couple of things. It took a long time to heat up. Also, as I brewed, there was still quite a substantial amount of water left in the bottom, so we'll taste it and see what it's like, but I think it might be slightly diluted somewhat because all of the water never went into the top. Maybe I needed to let it boil a bit, but the top was boiling, so I didn't think that was a good thing to do. I've never brewed that much with this, so it's all a bit of a trial and error. You're supposed to get a dome in there, which looks pretty good. And yeah, I mean, one thing we can do is try. Lovely little server. Coffee looks good, looks quite light. Let that cool down. But let's talk about the thing. To be honest, I like it. I mean, it's cool. I think your friends would be impressed if they came round for coffee after dinner. That would be pretty cool. Love the look of it, love the design, absolutely incredible. Cross between a science lab and an old telephone. Looks great. Took a while to brew with, but we'll see what happens. But for the theatre, I think it's an absolutely brilliant thing. Well put together, bit delicate. You'd have to be careful when you're washing these things, being glass. Another thing I like, no filter in there, so that's pretty cool. Just a little, almost a little glass drainer, I think called, little glass. Yeah, the drainer, which obviously lifts up and lets the water out once it gets up to pressure. Let's have a drink. So it comes out pretty hot. Yeah, pretty good. Sweet, a little bit of sediment in there which gives it a little bit of texture, a bit of body, but I'm impressed. But I'm interested, do you have a siphon? Are you a siphon drinker? I'd love to know how you brew your coffee, what your best recipes are, so if you want to drop us a comment, that would be great. But that's it. Cona vacuum pot siphon filter brewer. As always, thanks for watching, stay focused, drink delicious coffee.